We looked at what is opportunity when it comes to God, what is opportunity when it comes to you. You are an opportunity to others. So the logical question to finish was then, who are the others? Who are the others that we're called to reach out to? Who are the others? What do they look like? What type of people are they that you are supposed to be an opportunity? The Son of Man came here to walk amongst humanity. And when he did, he was an opportunity to all types of people. So what if we just took a look at the types of people he was an opportunity to? I took some of the people that Christ dealt with, gave them a more of our modern name for our times, and then, because those are the people you are going to run into, and I took three key people. They're just simply an illustration or an epitome of three types of people we might run across. And the first one is a guy I call Roger Rutt. Well, if I were to pick a key feature, I'd start with this, is that Roger is a victim of circumstances. Underscore the word victim. You know what I'm talking about? Life deals everybody tough situations. Chances are in your own life something unfair has happened to you, and you had to meet the challenge and go on. For some, it may be as bad as this. They ended up crippled in some way. And if Roger was in our day, maybe he'd be in a wheelchair or something. And when you get hit with that challenge, you're going to be one of two things. Or the people that you are encountering will be one of two things. They will be a victim, or they'll be a victim. Isn't it interesting? You know, when Jesus approaches him, what's his opening comment? Do you want to be made well? You know, it's like, duh. No, I'm just sitting here, I'm enjoying this. But really, it was a very legitimate question, because we might say, well, yeah, I want to be made well, but, you know, really, as you look at what's his response? His response when Jesus says, do you want to be made well, was a reason why he couldn't be made well. I'm sitting here and I can't get to the water. People get in ahead of me. I've been doing this for maybe 38 years, but people get ahead of me. I'm here, but it doesn't work. Well, it's kind of like, then why are you here? He's in a rut. He's thought of this one way to deal with this problem, and it doesn't work, and he's pretty well convinced it won't work, but there he is. Here I am, but it won't work. He got very comfortable with that, hasn't he? Well, I'm trying, but even as I try, I know it won't work. It's in a real rut. You know, we need to be realists. You're going to face challenges, and say you're facing something. Even Christ says to count the cost. Before you start building a tower, what's involved? But there's a line here between being realistic and seeing the challenges and using the obstacles as an excuse not to succeed. Well, how do you know where that line is? Pretty good rule of thumb to start anyway is with where you're in the victim or the victor side of things here is it's always someone else's fault or something else's fault. Sometimes you need somebody to come in who doesn't have the little rut going on in their head to help you out. And that's what Jesus does. Jesus is compassionate when he comes to this man. I mean, he's there, he saw him, he knew his dilemma, and he approached him to help him. And then he asked this obvious question that's really kind of a confrontation. Do you want to be made well? And then there's no big amount of sympathy. Oh, poor you, 38 years, boo-hoo, sitting here. It's not that he's cold, it's just that, well, then fresh new look at this. A fresh new approach. Forget about the pool. In this case, God has already made you well. Simply accept what's there. Pick up your mat and walk. But did you notice that Jesus, once he was healed, didn't pick up his mat for him? For all the power that God flowed through this man, when Jesus was done telling him, he didn't pick up the mat for him. He said, you pick up your mat and walk. When we're dealing with Roger Ruts, let God's compassion work through us. Be that opportunity. You're an opportunity to be a whole fresh new look at this through Christ. But at some point, the person has to pick up their own mat and walk. Boy, how much energy do we lose when we try and pick up the mat for them and skip the healing process? No. Let them be healed and then pick up their own mat and walk. The second character I call Lester Longshot. And Jesus asked, didn't I heal 10 men? Where are the other 9? Does only this foreigner return to give glory to God? The issue with these guys are what happens after the opportunity. What happens after that? And it's an interesting vignette on how life really does work. Even yourself, if you just thought of your own life, are there any times when there was something that was really laying heavy on you, God helped you out, and then life takes off again and you just even forget to thank Him for it? Done it a few times. Guilty as charged. Anyway, it is this despised, this Longshot, Lester Longshot, is the guy who actually comes back and bears fruit. It's this guy who gives glory to God. And there's a couple of things to pull out from this opportunity. A couple of things. When we help people, here's an important lesson. Man, if we learn this one, you are called to be an opportunity. You are called to be an opportunity. And the driving force for you to follow this calling, the primary reason is not the needs of others. It is the calling that God has given you. It's not their need, it's your obedience. So if we do anything, don't get caught in the gratitude thing. Realize you do what you do because God has told you to. I'm saying that when it's all said and done, were you the opportunity you were called to be? Were you obedient? Even though some people will disappoint you, if you are faithful to your calling, there will be others who will surprise you with how they blossom. So what do we take from the whole thing? Well, let's start with this. Be aware of reality. Even though Jesus, if we look at all the places where Jesus met with people, we'll find that He was disappointed, that the response was a failure from them, not from Him. He was perfect. And yet the response was a failure in some kind, at least half the time. Not everybody will respond positively. It's just, that's the price of free will. But He was the perfect opportunity. We're called to be as perfect as we can be. Second thing is remember the reason. Remember the reason. When we are an opportunity to someone, it's not that they thank us. It's nice if they do. Everybody likes that. It's not even that we change their lives or we see their lives change as much as that's what we want to see happen. The main reason we're an opportunity is because we're called to be an opportunity. Ministry of reconciliation. That's what we're called to do. Third thing is just to have a healthy relationship with God. We cannot stop. That's why the first things, don't let things burn you out because you cannot stop. There isn't a time when you retire from being God's opportunity. It doesn't happen. Just think of it. If you are following Christ, who is greater, the master or the servant? And think of what your master did. The greatest opportunity God gave to the world, that Christ gave to the world, was in His dying breath. You never stop being an opportunity. You're always an opportunity. We already kind of talked about where we are. This is where we are right now. In this next week, how could you be an opportunity? As a whole, how will we be an opportunity? We're trying. We'll try through the youth church. We'll try through this idea of bringing people in 31 Sundays, chronological order, through the studies, nursery to adult. It's an amazing thing to consider. You are an opportunity for someone to encounter Christ.